It's a beautiful day. How are you?
Todo este parte de un plan. Esto es matarte con flow animal. Esto me para comerte este pan. Muévete al ritmo del bam, bidi bam. Bam, bidi bam, bidi bidi bam, bam.
Hello, everybody. Here we are, live at 5 p.m. This is Queen Mother Speaks, and I am Queen Mother. I'm so happy to be in studio today, every Wednesday, every week, live at 5 p.m. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to also what we call Wonderful Wednesday. We're in our new season, and the theme for the new season is the only impossible journey is the one you never began. So you feel like beginning your journey? We say stay aligned with your New Year's resolution. Remember, we're only just still in the first part of the year. So stay aligned and pay attention to the wisdom words that will be coming from the wise sage. This is the second quarter for 2023, and it's just a reminder to you that you are the one that you've been waiting for, that you bring into focus the thoughts that you want. Now, we had a leader in our church who used to say to us, life works if you work it. And somebody in studio knows who that person is. We'll talk about that again in just a few minutes. I invite you to hit the like, share, and comment button. And we want to acknowledge our co-host Nana Efua Adezawa, who has time off. Basically, she's got a new grandbaby, so she's taking some time off. Congratulations to you and the new baby. But we do have in studio with us today our what I'm calling our in studio co-host, and that is none other than Coach Rakaya.
Good morning. Good morning.
Okay, Coach, you've got to do something about your lighting. We don't see anything. We don't see your eyes. We don't see your teeth. We don't see anything. Okay, okay. I want to give a few shout outs. We'll come back. Okay, that's a little better, Coach. We'll come back to you. I want to give a shout out to our social media followers: Valerie Jordan, Mink Stavinga, Dorothy Anina, Afuma, Lachey Premu, Anita Dean, Otanchi Vince, Robert Daniels, Eunice Gakuha, and King Fahad. I'd like to take a moment and just thank those people who've been tuning in during the live show and even those who do comments during the week. Coach, tell us who's in
Okay.
studio today.
Good morning, everyone. How is everybody doing? Thank you for listening. I give a shout out to a few friends. Drum roll. Then say today we have Nature's Way Supplements Distributor and two brave young women, parents of autistic children. Ask guests to kindly greet the audience. Would you greet the audience? Who's in the studio?
So, what you're asking is that the people in the audience, I mean, not in the audience, the people in the studio get a chance to say hello.
Yeah, say hello, please. Mary,
Hello. Hello. Hello,
give your
everyone.
name, give the name, city from where you are, where you're
My name
from.
is Mary Hakasa. My name is Mary Hakasa Kokonya. I'm tuning in from Nairobi, Kenya.
Yay!
Welcome. Yeah, welcome. I invite you to get relaxed and ready for this awesome show. Hit hit the like button, share, comment, and please, by all means, invite some friends. Tom, thank you for tuning in. We thank you so much for being here. We have men, women, and youth having very unique, innovative projects and transformative works, plus special edition shows like today's tribute. So just stay right there. Go to our page, tell us who you are, where you're from, and guests you would like to see on the show. Go to facebook.com Queen Mother Speak and Facebook.com author Teresa R. Kim Action April. Blessing to all our faithful fans out of Atlanta. Lady Mo, Abimbola,
Yay!
Tina
Yay!
Jones, Ernestine, Marie Powell, High Priestess Sasha, Melissa
Seisha,
Kemp.
that's High Priestess.
Ah,
That's High Priestess.
yes.
Seisha, yes.
Shot, Melissa Kemp, Carmen and Michelle from Florida Solo, and of course, Jana, Janaba, Kathy King, Rosemary Johnson, and Marilyn Lewis. Back to you, Queen.
All right. Thank you very, very much for that. I want to give a birthday shout out to all the people born in the month of April. Now, if you're born in April, you are either a Aries or a Taurus. So birthday shout outs are in order to those of you who are celebrating your birthday. And sometimes we even say Earth Day during this month of June. Now, some of the notable celebrities, if you will, marking milestone birthdays this month would be Michael Moore, Valerie Bertinelli, George Lopez, John Oliver, and Gigi. Now, from the West Coast, USA, I want to take this moment and thank those who are tuning in from the West Coast. You know, they have to get up a lot much earlier than you do and I do to tune in to the Queen Mother Speak show. So we thank you for your early wake up and your grand rising to watch. Thanks go out to Simkia, tuning in from Hawaii, Ernestine Mpingo, Councilman Farrell in Red, Andisa and Kwashi, who tunes in faithfully from Los Angeles, California, USA. We have Tashmia, Nyla, Hakika, and Samantha, who tunes in from San Francisco, California. Tell me, who is rocking it in your world? Who is that person? Send us their names and their contact so that we can invite them to be on the show so the rest of the world can also be rocking right along with you. Queen Mother want to request of you to continue to wash your hands, not because the government say so, but because it makes sense. So we want to invite you to continue to do that. That's a good habit to have. Wouldn't you say so? And we also thank you for tuning into the Queen Mother Speak show, which is a very safe space for hearing what you want to hear. It's a very safe space for information and for expression. Bonga dada bonga, bonga dada bonga, bonga dada
Bonga,
bonga dada
bonga,
bonga
bonga,
dada bonga.
bonga.
That's right. That's a new platform. Every Thursday at 7 p.m. Kenya time, 12 noon New York time. You can watch that show by going to facebook.com/bonga dada bonga. I want to also thank the Honorable Margaret Toyley, Rose Mwara, Anju, Jay Mwangi, Parita, Rose Okalo, Maurice Obuyu, and Estelle, all from Kenya, tuning in to the Queen Mother Speaks show. So, what is this thing called Queen Mother Speaks? Well, it's really just a community platform for wealthy conversations that matter. We do commentary and insight to raise awareness, to inform, to inspire, to ignite. Do we get you involved from the Queen Mother Speak show? We want to enlighten you, educate you. We want you to laugh. We will give you updates on expatriating to Africa. We have words on newsworthy events, and we give you wisdom from the elders with warm and witty dialogue with our guests, which we will be doing today. All right, again, thank you for tuning in to the Queen Mother Speak show. So, from the Art of Living Institute, over a year ago, maybe 2 years even now, we had an online breathing session, which we've now incorporated into the Queen Mother Speak show. And I want you to know that during the pandemic, it is the breathing exercises along with prayer, meditation, walking, and drinking water that kept me alive and moving and rolling and getting it on. All right. But that breathing really helped me out a lot because a lot of my friends and relatives got a chance to, shall we say, travel up to glory. And my heart was very heavy during that period. but the breathing is what helped me. So we now, as I stated, incorporate that into the Queen Mother Speak Show. And right now, we're going to go into our breathing exercise. And the way that works, I'll show you here. How it works is you breathe in through the nose. You're going to breathe in through the nose. I'm going to explain it, then we're going to do it. Through the nose, you breathe in slowly to the count of 8. Then you hold it to the count of 8. Mm-hmm. Then you release. And you release again through your nose, and you release to the count of 12. So the releasing is longer. So you just take your time and let the air flow out slowly, slowly, slowly through the nose. And we're going to do it 3 times. And I'm going to ask you, as we're doing this breathing exercise, to really get into it for yourself. Are you ready? Are you ready, people in studio? Let's
Yeah.
go. Breathe in through the nose. Hold. Release. Okay, let's try it again. Breathe in. Okay, we're going to try one more. You ready? Here we go. Breathe in. All right. All right. Thank you for that. And I hope you had a chance to get into it. I will tell you this about it, that when we do our breathing, it really can reduce stress. How does it do that? Because it increases your oxygen exchange. And what happens with that, that reduces your blood pressure, it slows the heart, and it releases tension from your abdomen. And if you get engaged with breathing long enough, you can begin to feel this within yourself as you're getting involved, okay, with your breathing. Thank you for experiencing the breathing exercise with me. And right now, we're going to go to our affirmation reading for today. And Coach is going to take us through that right here, right now.
Thank you so much, Queen. At this moment, we're going to repeat the affirmation 3 times. I will say it the first time, and then we will say it 3 times together. I am awake to God's favor. Everyone repeat. I am
I
awake
am
to
awake.
God's favor.
Favor.
I
I
am awake
am awake
to God's
to
favor.
God's favor.
That's
I
I
am
I
awake
am awake
to God's
to
favor.
God's favor.
Have you noticed that some people seem to move through life with grace? You can feel their reverence for life, and light shines upon and through them. They have something special, and we can feel it. They have discovered their God self. We're attracted to the grace that resides in them because it is also in us. I am awake to God's favor that I have with God. I'm awake to the favor that I have with God. God loves me immensely. I too have grace. I seek first the kingdom within, and my path is lighted for me. I surround in light. I am the light. Thank you, wisdom in me, through me, as me, around me, through the Christ within. and so it is. Therefore it is said, awake, O sleeper, and rise from the dead, and Christ shall give you light. Ephesians 5:14. Thank you. Back to you, Queen Mother.
All right.
These
Thank you
read
so much.
this reading was from the Daily Thought from the Hill International Truth Center in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes, and Hillside International Truth Center, Atlanta, Georgia. If you happen to be in Atlanta and you've never visited there, Queen Mother would certainly ask that you check out Hillside. It's on Cascade Road in Southwest Atlanta, and they do these daily thoughts from the Hill, and they have been with us for, I don't know, I 20, 30 some years even, for me, having a daily thought from Hillside every day. And we just share with you the daily thought for today, which is the 19th of April. All right, thank you for that. I also want to give out a few more shout outs to Sarah and the girls out of Dubai, Dr. Billy Butler, Louisiana, Professor Al Gaskins, Ohio, Brother Chess and Lila, who tunes in faithfully from New York City. Hey, 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 hit that like, comment, share button. Okay, we're going to give you a little spotlight right now. And spotlight for this week is for us to talk about Earth Day. That's right, Earth Day. What is Earth Day? Because there was no EPA, there was no Clean Air Act, no Clean Water Act, there were no legal or regulatory mechanisms to protect our environment. So, in the year of spring 1970, it was Senator Gaylord Nelson who actually created Earth Day as a way to force the issue onto the national agenda. So, Earth Day is an annual event that happens on April 22nd to demonstrate support for environmental protection. Now, in today's world, it includes a wide range of other events in terms of what Earth Day can be about. I mean, think about it, from the soil to the trees to the water to all the effects of global warming that we've all been living through and trying to understand. So Earth Day is an important day. And what I did today for Earth Day, I don't know what you've done, but if you haven't done anything, there's still time to do something for Earth Day if you choose. What I did is I just went outside. I had a little spatula and I just kind of dug in the earth a little bit. We're in the rainy season here in Nairobi in Kenya. So the earth, the ground is very soft. So I just played with the dirt a little bit. And then I have this plant in my yard. I don't know the name of it. I'm going to show it to you next week. But some of the young ladies came over and they told me, and they had come to visit. And on the way out, they stopped in the yard and they just picked these leaves, if you will, from the yard. And I said, "What are you ladies doing? What are you doing?" They said, "Oh, we're gonna eat these." I said, "Really? You're gonna eat them?" They said, "Yeah." And they just started eating them. And I figured, well, if they ate them and they were still standing, that I too could eat them. So I got some, I brought them inside, I washed them, and then I ate them. And guess what they taste like? Lemon. They taste like lemon. So they ate the flour that was on top, and then they began to chew. Just keep chewing and chew on the stem. I like them very much, and so I just kind of like got into the habit of doing it. One of these days, I'm going to boil them to see whether or not they could make any lemon juice for me. I don't know. I don't know, but we will try. Okay, another thing that we want to talk about that happens in the month of April is historical moments in April, and I'm just going to give you just a few. The first cordless telephone went on sale in Britain in 1983 in the month of April. English lexicographer Dr. Samuel Johnson published his dictionary, and he had taken many years to compile it. Another historical moment in the month of April would be the first battle in the War of American Independence took place at Lexington, Massachusetts in April. The Irish born writer Bram Stoker, who's the author of Count Dracula. How many of you remember Count Dracula? I do. Okay, well, the writer of Count Dracula was born in the month of April. He died at his home in London. He was 65. That was in 1912 when he decided to pass away. There's just one other I want to give you. Oh, this one I found very exciting. At the start of the American Independence War, U.S. patriot, a gentleman by the name of Paul Revere, rode from Charleston to Lexington, warning the people that British troops were advancing. Now, I particularly take note to this particular historical moment because the gentleman by the name of Paul Revere, excuse me 1 second. It's a beautiful day. You have the code. Hello.
Hi, this is Myra. I saw that you had called and I was in an exercise class, so I was calling you back. Did you leave me a message?
The show is on at 5 o'clock today. The show is on at 5 o'clock today. We are now in the studio. Do you have the code? Can you come?
I will come for 5. I'll figure out what time that is our time.
The show has started, so it's already your time. So if you get to come in, please do. If not, we can do it another week. Whatever works for you works for us because we're the owners of the show.
Yes, okay. I'll sit right here and come in where I am, but I know that lighting is always important, so I'm going to stop what I'm doing and just come onto the show. You left me a code.
Right. Okay. Here's what we can do, Myra, because I really want the public to get your story. So let's do you another day because I want you to be ready to give us and deliver to us the way you delivered it to me. I want them to hear the importance of how we take care of what you do in the world. Because there's a lot of people out there.
I'm ready.
But then we'll see you in the studio. Then we'll see you in studio.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that's one of our guests who I was expecting in studio today. But you know, since there's such a great time difference, sometimes people don't get it. And guess what? It's okay. It's really okay. But going back to Paul Revere, as a young girl, I used to always do poetry. And Paul Revere was a gentleman that a huge poem was written about because he was the one who came to warn the Americans that the British were coming to fight. So I've learned a lot of his poetry over the years, and one of these days I'm going to recite some of that poetry for you. Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere. We'll do the story at another time. Okay. All right. So we might be having another guest to come into the studio. But right now, we're going to deal with a guest who is in studio, who said hello to you just a little while ago. Coach, are you ready to introduce our guest?
Yes, I am. We had the distinct pleasure of introducing and bringing to you Sister. Give me a second. The computer jumped. Yay! Sister Mary Kkahasa, a program manager.
Okay, let's make sure you're pronouncing that properly. Is that
Sister
right, Mary?
Mary Kkahasa. Sister Mary, is that right?
Yes.
Thank you.
A program manager at the British High Commission in Nairobi with over 25 years of experience managing projects. She studied at a local boarding school before joining secondary school and college, where she studied business English, computer studies, among others. Was privileged to land her first job with a government, followed by Standard Chartered Bank before moving to BHC. I have managed 2 large projects of 102.3 million and another one of 75 million pounds. Is that pounds?
Yes.
Over 5 years and 10 years respectively, during which I got awards for being one of the best in financial management. I've always been passionate to helping other people grow, and this business, Nature's Way, has given me a platform to help ambitious women from struggling to achieving time and financial independence. As an entrepreneur, which I do part time, what gives me so much joy is seeing people whose lives have changed as a result of me introducing to them to our amazing nutritional supplements and business. Welcome to the platform.
Thank you.
Nice to
Thank
have
you.
you. Growing
Nice
up
to
with,
be here.
thank you. Growing up with siblings, were you a big or small family? Do you have a big or small family? And where do you fall?
My siblings, we are family of 8. And I'm from Western Kenya.
Mhm. And of
Are,
the 8, where are
are you
you? Are
the,
you number the baby or?
Sorry, that's my family. My family, we are
yeah,
8 siblings.
what number are you? Number one, number two, number
Oh,
three, or number,
number 7.
Ah,
oh, next to the last.
Yes.
Okay. Talk about your work with the British High Commission and managing your projects.
Okay. My work at the mission is mostly a program manager. So I've been managing projects. And maybe just to give you an overview of what it entails to be a program manager, or rather doing financial management. So basically, you have to, first of all, for a project to work, you have to have a business case. That is the fundamental project document. And then, of course, now when it comes to work, everyday work, you have to do planning, organizing, directing, supervising, financial undertaking in the organization. So what it also entails is applying management principles, to the financial resources, while also playing a significant role in economic and budget management. So what I do on a day-to-day is that I manage projects. Yeah.
okay.
Oh,
Now we noticed that you've dealt with some very high class projects and you've been dealing with projects that are very highly funded. So my question to you is, many of us run away from numbers. How did you become a financial manager expert? How did you learn to like numbers? Tell us the secret.
I actually land on the job, and so because the organization has very good program management, program cycle management programs. So when I landed the job, that is after I had been working with a bank. So working with numbers was not a problem. So I quickly caught up with it and just ran with it. And so I've been managing the programs for almost over 25 years now at the mission.
Okay, very well. I'm just going to take a moment and bring our other guest into the studio. Okay, let's see. I think we've got her in. I don't see her yet, but we're just acknowledging that she is coming into the studio. Back to you, Mary. Okay, so my next question is, tell us about AIM Global Business. And from what I read with you and
Okay.
AIM Global Business is that when you started out, you had some doubts about this thing. But what led you to give away or do away with those doubts? Tell us about the business and then tell us what led you to the business and how did you move away from your doubts?
Okay, so what actually led me to this business is that way back in 2018, which is now well about 5 years ago, I was looking for a solution to my mom's ailments. My mom is
Mhm.
elderly, so I was looking for a solution to her ailments. And a friend of mine introduced me to this company, And I went and listened to what they offer at the Alliance in Motion Global offices in Nairobi. The first time I was not so convinced. The second time I said, what if I try? After all, my mom is ailing and I need to help her. So I got a package of the products. I came back home and I was actually afraid to try them on my mother. So I started using the products myself
Hmm.
the first week,
Oh, okay.
second week, third week.
Hmm.
And by the third week, I used to have very bad backaches. And by the third week, my backache had gone. So I called this lady by the name of Lydia. I asked her, I've been having backaches. It's now gone. She said, "Yeah, we told this is one of the how our products work. What happens is that it will cleanse your system. It will clear everything that it finds in your system if you are unwell, and if you are well, it will just give you the wellness that you need." So after that, I was armed and I was so excited to try them on my mom. My mom started taking these supplements in 2018. Today, my mom is 92 years old, going to
Wow.
93 years. She's very healthy, no ailments. She has all those chronic diseases. She has no arthritis. She has no blood pressure. She has no diabetes. She's a very
Mm.
healthy at 92, going to 93 years. And that is what gave me the motivation to go out there, because I thought by doing this, I'll help somebody out there. I'll help a mother. I'll help a sister. I'll help a brother. So that is why I went out in full confidence. And by so doing, I've even been able to help some of my family members, one of them who had diabetes at 23 point something. And then when he started taking these supplements, on the second month, he came down to 7.1. And by the
Mm.
third month, he was at sugar levels were at 5.2. So those are the things that keep me going, because I
Okay.
want to help more people out there. Yes.
Okay, very well. So tell us, Mary, what would you like to share with the Queen Mother Speaks audience about the Nature's Way supplement line? And right now we do want to put on the screen how people can reach you if they're interested in ordering any other products. But what would you say to us about the Nature's Way line?
Okay. So the company has partnered with Nature's Way. And as you all know, Nature's Way is one of the companies that is renowned internationally with over 50 years expertise. And also, we also get our products from WIDA. WIDA is a weight loss. I mean, they produce the weight loss products.
Hmm.
Yeah, so those are the products that we distribute. And also, they also have beverages like coffee, which is alkaline in nature, and it has no caffeine. Yeah. And also for the children, they also have a product called My Choco. So everyone is catered for in a family.
Okay.
And one of the flagship product is called C24/7, and it has all the nutrients that one needs
Mm.
in their bodies.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Well, we see that you look very healthy there, Mary. And I'm
Yes, I'm
assuming that you
59
are
years old.
okay.
How old?
Don't look it at all. She
I'm
say
59 years
she's
old,
she say she's
and
5'9", but I think I don't know about that, Miss Mary.
they, so the secret is that I take these supplements, so I'll keep young forever.
Yes, you will. And I want to thank you for coming on the Queen Mother Speak show and talking to us about the Nature's Way products. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, I want to read that number for you. If you want information regarding Nature's Way supplements, you can contact Mary at +254 727 086869. Once again, plus 254 727 086869. Thank you, Mary, for being on the Queen Mother Speak Show. We're going to move over to our other guests, but we will be coming back to you in just a moment. Are there any questions for Mary from anyone in the studio? Okay,
Thank you
very
for
well.
sharing, Mary. I don't have any questions.
Okay, very well. All right, so then we're going to move on to our next guest. As we stated earlier, this is not only this month of April, we get Earth Day, but we also get Autism Acceptance Month. Autism Acceptance Month. Now, that may sound a little strange to you because in the past, it's always been known as Autism Awareness Month. But what we've come to recognize and realize, ladies and gentlemen, is that being aware of something is one thing, isn't it? But accepting it is another. So they're changing the scope of how they want you to look at people who have autism, because it is said that 1 in every 36 children come out to be a child with autism, and they are all over the world. And therefore, all over the world, we want to start changing our view and our attitude about autism. And all of that has to do with acceptance. Acceptance. Another way of looking at it. You ever go through something and realize if you had only looked at it differently, the outcome for you could have been different? That's what we're alluding to right now in talking about Autism Acceptance Month. Our next guest holds a very special position because she has someone that she wants to talk to you about in that area. Coach, will you tell us a little bit about our next guest in the studio?
Well, before Myra does her little presentation, I wanted to give a little historical background about autism, and I believe that her story will fall right in line with it. So, if you don't mind, I would like to give the historical background about the origins of autism.
We're listening.
Okay, okay. The history of autism began in 1911 when a Swiss psychiatrist, Paul Eugene Bowler, coined the term. He believes it is a childhood version of schizophrenia. Since our current understanding has evolved, here is the current diagnosis. Autism is a spectrum disorder, ASD, and 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 is formed by many notable events impacting autism clinical research, education, and support. 1999, the Question Society adopts the Autism Awareness Month form. Fast forward 2000, the University of Autism Awareness. 2003, the Global Regional Asperger Syndrome Partnership, GRASP, GRASP, an organization by people with Asperger syndrome and autism spectrum disorders, is formed. 2003, Bernard Remland, Stephen Edelson, unite, write a book, recovering autistic children. In 2006, Ari Neiman established the Autistic Self Advocacy, ASAN. In 2006, Dora Raymaker and Creatina Nicolai starts the Academy of Autistic Spectrum Partnership in Research and Education, AASPIRE, to provide resources for autistic adults and healthcare providers. In 2006, the president signs the the president signs the Combating Autism Act to provide treatment and research. In 2013, the DSM-5 combined autism, Asperger, and childhood disintegrated disorders into autism spectrum disorder. 2014, the president signs the Autism Collaboration, Accountability, Research, Education, and Support CARES Act of 2014, reauthorizing and expanding Combating Autism Act. 2020, the Center for Disease Control determined that one in 54 children have been identified with an autism spectrum disorder. And so you see that throughout the years, things have changed and evolved.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just wanted to give you guys the backdrop of what is going on. There's even another several other diseases that has evolved or that has been documented from this autism and Asperger. But one of the main things about autistic children, some of it varies. Some of them do not give eye contact because it is stated that they're trying to focus on what they're trying to say. Some of them do not mingle with people. They shy away from being around people. They're loners. And so now I bring to you Myra Brady, who has a son named James Brady, and I'm going to give her the opportunity to give a little background about herself, and then she can proceed with her story. Myra, thank you for coming into the studio and sharing your story.
Thank
Welcome.
you. Thank you, Gloria, and thank you, Queen, for this opportunity. My name's Myra Brady. I am 63. No, I'm sorry. I'm 64 this year. I will be 65 in July. So I am very interested in the Nature's Way products to extend my life like the presenters' mothers to, wow, way into life. I wish that I had known it sooner because maybe I would have started James, my son, on that same um, preparation for eating. I hear a lot of noise in the background. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Well, I would like to also extend what Gloria just said to she said in 2006 there was a Combating Autism Act that was formed. Well, that was great. You know, we need more acts, but what we need, like Queen Mother said, is more actions, and we need the perspective, like she said, to be um, based on your attitude of acceptance. And with attitude of acceptance, then you need to know more about it. And that's why this forum is necessary so that you can know more about something so that you can accept what you're seeing. Because it is abnormal what you're seeing. It's abnormal from the normal society and the normal way that we see children grow. So, because it's a little abnormal, it's kind of new. They used to put students and children, family members, like in a back room or something, rather than, you know, bringing them out and exposing them to community. So now, because of all of these acts and actions that people are doing because of their learning of the spectrum, um, it's getting better. But when James was born, he had seizures. And with those seizures, I decided not to leave the hospital until they cleared the seizures, or at least told me why he was having the seizures, because seizures is a symptom of a disorder. They don't know why people seize. They can go through a series of tests to figure out what's really wrong, but more than likely, even with the tests that they do on the brain, it's they will find out what triggers it, and then they will start from there trying to decide how they're going to treat whatever caused the triggers, the symptom of the seizures. But long story short, I was at the hospital about a month with James after he was born. He was only 1 month old. And I asked one of the nurses, I said, well, how much medicine is James really on? And the lady said, if you were on the same amount of medicine for your height and weight, then you couldn't even stand up. And when she
Mm,
said that, I was determined to leave the
mm.
hospital because all they were doing was giving him boluses after boluses. And boluses are considered, I guess, with them, an extra amount. So, of course, we know that drugs are not the cure for anything and that food is medicine, like Gloria is teaching, that we should get our medicine from our foods. So, with that being said, I left the hospital. I wish I had known Gloria at the time because she and I, we would have put together um, a eating program for James even at that young age, because everything affects your body. We are what we eat, and then we are what we have eaten. So all the things that we have eaten, that's what makes us. We are what we have eaten. So if you're healthy, it's because you've been eating healthy. If you're unhealthy, it is because you have all the time been eating what you wanted that was not healthy. But back to autism. With autism, as we were talking about, it's your perspective, your attitude, your knowledge of. It's like your perspective is based on your foundational principles. It's like whatever you live, whatever you've known, how you've been educated, how you treat others, that's your perspective on life. So when we say perspective of autism, we want to be treated like everybody else. We want
Uh-huh.
you to treat us like you treat yourself, or you would treat your granddaughter or your child or whatever. You treat them with love. You have goals for them. You have perspectives. Sometimes with autism, because families are not really aware of what to do, knowledgeable about what to do, they tend to shy away. So
Mm-hmm.
James had a mother, a father, brothers, two sisters that were all much older than him. His dad
Mm-hmm.
and I decided to have a baby at like 5 years of marriage. After we were married 5 years, we were already raising the Brady Bunch. Okay. So when we decided to have this baby, and the whatever amniocentesis said that he was a boy, his dad cried. A lot like the other um guest that was on. Dads are like really happy when they know they're going to have a son. But the problem is sometimes when dads realize that there's a problem with the child, they can't handle it, especially if it's a
mm,
male child. If it's a male child,
mm,
they will try their best to handle it, but because they identify and they see people identifying the child with them, I think it's a harder time, so they tend to shy away. But that is the time when everyone in the family should actually be pulling together, because it's going to take the whole family to help the child develop. It takes the mom, the dad, if you have a step parent. It takes that step parent, because a lot of times families do break up. And when families break up, as Mr. Brady and I did, James ended up with a new mother. And that mother has to also be involved in his development, as his sisters and his brothers, and everyone should stay involved. So it's really important that everyone that's involved with the child is all in the school system. I have found that the special education teachers are all in because they've decided to be special ed teachers, and they are really a special group. Most teachers, I was a teacher, I'm a retired teacher of 32 years. Most teachers will work because they're motivated by money. Now, you already know that teachers don't make a lot of money, but people in every profession are motivated by the money. And with that being said, there are some that are um, all in it with the heart, like
mm-hmm.
people like me. And then there are
Mm-hmm.
some people that are in it with the educational part of it, and they are going to give their very best, but the heart may not be, I'm going to work a little extra. I'm going to get to know the parents. I'm going to get to know the kid a little bit better. I'm not going to just teach him the ABCs. I'm going to teach him how to sit and how to study. I mean, just get more involved. And that's what I found the special ed teachers really will do. But the most important thing that they do is show them love. And that's what the other presenter guest said earlier. She said, love is the most important element there. And I
Mhm.
agree with that, because if we can love the way we love ourselves and we love normally, when we truly love, and you end up putting that same love into someone that's abnormal, only meaning on the spectrum, because we're talking about autistic people, but really we should not be talking about autistic people. We should be talking about people that have autism. It's almost like saying, um um I don't know, I was trying to give an example, that you are um mentally
Say it
retarded.
again.
I'll say
Say it
this.
again. Say it again, Myra. I think we can help you with that. Say it again. You said like people say they want to help autistic people, but it's not about. Go ahead.
Okay, so let's just say that you are um mentally retarded, but you don't want to hear that you are mentally retarded. You want to
Uh huh.
hear that you are a person that has been retarded in your teaching or your learning. You want to be identified as a person with something, not an autistic person.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
a person with autism. And when you look at it that way, you see it as a person on a spectrum. You don't see it as
Mm-hmm.
just a person, it's a person on a spectrum. My child may be on a spectrum that's a higher level, and I feel that James is, and someone else may be on a lower level, and they may be more introverted, they may be more apt to pick on other people. James has never hit anyone. He's very calm, he's just a loving son, and he's always been mild mannered. He
Mm-hmm.
may shy away, because I wanted to tell you some of the qualities um, that develop, just like
Mm-hmm.
and when I say qualities, I just mean the things about him. The characteristics is a better word. He had
Okay.
delayed milestones. So of course, after the seizures and all the medicine that he had been on as a small child, because of course they didn't just let me, and I did not just grab him and say, "You're not going to take this medicine." That's false to even think that a person would do that. What I did was I started diminishing his medicine. And when I took him back for his checkup with the doctor at 6 months, the doctor said, well, since you're 6 or 9 months, but I know he had his last seizure around 9 months. But the doctor said if he's only on that small amount of medicine, phenobarbital, dilantin, they end up with all kinds of things. But they said if he's only on that amount, you can take him off, because that's not what's stopping the seizures. So
Mm-hmm.
praise God,
Mm-hmm.
that
Okay.
motivation to do that helped him. And it goes back to what you put into your body, because medicine causes side effects. The
Mm-hmm.
phenobarbital and the dilantin that they were taking for the seizures, it'll tell you that it also causes seizures. So with that being
Uh-huh.
said, it's it's called the science of. And we know that the science of everything is the science of everything. The science of Myra is all the things that Myra's gone through. The science of Queen Mother is
Mm-hmm.
you're the one that's intricate in knowing what your science is. Gloria's
Mm-hmm.
science. Everybody has a science of. So the
Mm-hmm.
science of James, my son, is going to be different from the science of the previous guest.
Mm-hmm.
His science is he's very sharp, and I'm not comparing because I don't remember and I wasn't able to hear all of it because I was traveling at the time that she presented. But they're two different people, automatic, as in
Mhm.
everybody in the world, we're all different people. But with all of the people on the spectrum, the way they are determined with ASD, which is autistic spectrum disorder, I'm so happy that they started identifying what it truly is, but it didn't start until 2006 and didn't really develop, as
Uh-huh.
Gloria said, until 2013 with the definition of the spectrum. And it's like,
Mhm.
they were putting everybody in one category, but
And
now,
it,
Okay.
excuse me, Myra, the definition is still growing because there are other levels that I didn't get into. The
yes.
definition is broad. Go ahead. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. You're correct about that. That is the clinical definition of it. So that won't change. But they're still exploring things like what caused that. Was it the mother? Was it the father? Was it the food?
Mhm.
Was it
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
environment? They're still exploring all those things. And yet, like you said, they're still exploring what it is per se that is the definition of it. But the name of it won't change. It's just that the
Mhm.
spectrum and all the information will be,
Mhm.
you know, much better, much stronger, better to understand. But
Okay.
all of them have delayed milestones. They're all socially awkward. You can clearly tell. My first experience, and I don't know, and I won't even say that God placed me with an autistic child, but my first experience with even seeing somebody that was autistic is when I was in college. I was in a grocery store, and in the grocery store next to me was a lady with her daughter, the most beautiful girl that I thought, beautiful little girl, about 10. And I was smiling, because I'm a teacher. So I was smiling at her and trying to get her to interact. And then the mother said, she's not gonna interact with you. And I said, why? And then she says, because she's autistic. And me, with my little knowledge at the time, I was thinking artistic, because artistic is creative, this and that. And so I had not, yes. So I had not
Okay.
even identified with the word autism. But I
Mm.
thought in my mind, my heart of hearts, I thought, wow, if she was mine, I think I could make her smile. I thought
Ah.
that in the store. So I have no idea, but at the same time, God knew that I could handle it, and I
Okay.
ended up with James. So
Okay.
anyway, they also have trouble with verbal and nonverbal communication. It's like he may want to say something, and we're trying to push him to go ahead and say it. Like we think that, okay, I've given you enough time, you should say it. Because you should always wait. You ask
Mhm.
something, you wait. You prompt
Mhm.
something, you wait. You give them time, but once you give them time, sometimes it's not enough, because they're still thinking and processing what they would like to say, like Gloria said earlier. So they do have trouble with verbal and nonverbal communication. And it's
Mhm.
hard for them to understand what we're thinking. It's like we might be thinking, about this child. But the child is thinking, I have no idea what you're thinking. Whereas normal children, and when I say normal, abnormal, I have no problem with the identification that this is an abnormal situation. It is, that requires more knowledge, more
Uh-huh.
awareness. It
Mhm.
is abnormal. So, with that being said, we just need to understand, and that they don't understand, what is it, the context clues. We will give context clues as to what we're talking about. Hey, let's get ready to go here, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. They may not pick up on all the things that are
Okay.
associated with what I've said. So the
Okay.
context clues, there's a lot of things that they don't pick up on. They don't
Mhm.
know that we're mad. Sometimes you can look at a person and you go like, they may not know you did that to them. They're like, so, and what does that mean?
Okay.
They don't
Okay.
understand what that means.
Mhm.
So, and then with making friends, you have to kind of give them friends. And James has a program in his school that's called Buddies. And with Buddies, they have like a normal child that goes around with them, that meets them for pizza, that meets them for
Mhm.
skating, for bowling, and he loves that. He loves that program. But that's what they need. You have to give them attention. They don't just seek attention, not normally. Sometimes, if James is hungry or if you promised him something, he'll seek attention. It's like, well, you remember you said we were going to go eat? Because that's
Uh-huh.
usually a big motivation. He'll come and prompt that, but otherwise, he'll just kind of let you lead him on.
Okay.
So it's very important that everyone is vested into his development, because everyone should be saying, "Hey James, how do you feel? Hey James, what do you want to do? Hey James, let's do this. Hey James." Everybody needs to be vested in it. And a lot of times with families, especially growing adult children, they don't understand their need to the need that they should have for their brother or sister. All they think
Mhm.
about is themselves, because
Mhm.
what does the world teach us? Be lovers of yourselves. And that's a part of the end times, which is another situation that we could talk about,
Mhm.
because lovers of
Okay.
self, lovers of money, lovers of what do I get out of this? I can't be um, always involved with James. Why does James get all the attention? And that's, I think, subliminal. I don't think it's
Mhm.
outward, because, of course, we love our family members, but we are human. And in
Mhm.
humanity, we have some issues. Since Adam and Eve, we have issues. But
Ah.
those that are actually committed, like the mother, usually, the mother is going to be the one, Queen Mother, the mother. That's a mighty name, Mother, because mothers
It
usually do
is.
not give up on their child for whatever reason. In fact, the reason that James lives with his dad is because I had to be convinced by the Holy Spirit that that was the best situation for James. James needed the both parents. If I had James, dad would have been absent. That's another excuse to say, I got to work. I'll pick him up when I can. But with me, when we were divorced, I was there at his house every single day watching him get off the bus, because dad, being a policeman, had the ability to think and control the fact that he could make James a latchkey child. And so
Mm.
I was appalled. It's like, a latchkey. He's only a young teenager. He can't be latchkey. He doesn't know. Dad made sure that he learned how to be a latchkey kid. I never would have done
Uh-huh.
that.
Okay.
Also, one morning, and it was best for James, but I was there every day. When James got off the bus, I said, "Okay, James, go to the garage, do what you got to do, key in the code, go around, come to the front door, let me in. Let's get your homework, let's get your papers, let's get your snack, let's clean up your room, let's hang up your clothes." And then I would
Mhm.
leave, and dad, being a policeman, he would get home like maybe an hour or two later, but he was always in contact, and he had the home camera system so he could see what was going on. Everything was fine. But
Mhm.
if I had had James, I would have been a a single parent raising an autistic child that had behavioral issues. Like, you say stand up, he sits down. You sit down, you say sit down, he's standing up. And it's like, then you call dad, and then what does dad say? Well, I'll take care of that. I'll come over, I'll get him. But I didn't want that for James. I wanted the power to teach him. And plus, I
Mhm.
didn't want a bully like his dad was. Oh, 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 didn't I say? It's like, no, I want James to be treated like he should be treated in society. Society is
Uh-huh.
going to say, security, there's a problem over here. I need you to come and get this person. They don't realize what's going on inside. But if James is used to, move, move, didn't I say move? Then that's what he's waiting on. It's like, people that are waiting on that, they're waiting on the show. It's like, well, let me
Okay.
see, what are they going to do? I didn't want that for James. I did
Mhm.
not want him to wait on people to perform and see how far he's gonna go. I wanted him to be able to know, when you are told, James, I need you to move from here to there, that he would do it. And he would
Okay.
do it in an orderly manner, civil, with civil obedience going on.
Mhm.
Whereas, dad had to learn that. But that was one of my arguments. Oh no, he can't raise my son. He's too
Mm.
vilified. But the Holy Spirit says that's what he needs, because he needs both of you, and
Wow.
dad will learn how to handle like he's
Mhm.
supposed to handle it. Calm down with his police. I said, do what I say, do. They have an
Mhm.
authoritative way of life.
Way of being.
So,
Mhm.
yes, ma'am. So, because of
Mhm.
that, James was being taught that way. And that was like not acceptable to me. But the Holy Spirit said, don't worry about it. I got this. Because
All right.
today, if you see James, you would say, wow, he's got some
Mm.
good parents. They have
Mhm.
really worked to maintain him and to get him to the level of society that he should be. And I sent Gloria some pictures, and she said that she was going to post them. He was in ROTC in high school. He
Mhm.
became, what do you call it, homecoming king one
Ah.
year. Yes,
I sent
it
them.
was during the yes, it was during the pandemic, but because
I
he's so
sent them to Queen.
popular, pardon me.
Okay.
I sent them to Queen.
Okay,
Yeah.
but he became that during the pandemic because most all of the students at that school where he belonged in, which was a predominant neighborhood that we lived in, and of course I didn't want to see James have to leave that neighborhood. But anyway, the kids from the moment that he was little, like 5, 6, they would knock on the door. Can James come out and play?
Ah.
And it's like, of
Okay.
course. And even through high school, they remembered him because we stayed in the same neighborhood through high
Okay.
school. So they knew James, and all the teachers called him Amen James because he was always a Christian. He was
Mm.
my prayer partner when
Wow.
dad was acting any kind of way. James was my prayer partner because the word says when two or more, there I am also. And I would tell
Yeah.
James that. And he learned prayers, he learned scriptures, but in that he developed. So it took all of us. It took dad, making sure that he was a boy and not a girl like me, treating him too nurturing to
Mhm.
become what he needed to become. Because I remember one morning I took James home. He had missed the school bus. So I told dad, I said, well, we're gonna miss the bus, but we're on our way. So James went to the house that morning, keyed in, went inside, and came back out and got in the vehicle with me. When he got in the vehicle with me, I noticed that he did not let the garage down. So I said, James, call your dad and let him know that, you forgot to let the garage down. So dad, when he answered, he was like, so why didn't you let the garage down, James? And I was like, wow, I would have just said, thank you, James. I'll let it down. But Holy Spirit again said, that is what James needs. Do you not understand that this is the
Mhm.
way to teach him to be more responsible? And yes, what you're
Mm.
saying is right. It's nice, it's cordial. Thank you, James. I'll let it down. But it's not what James needed. So I
Okay.
realized that even in that situation, that we just don't know half of the time because I only knew that dad wanted child support. He didn't want to pay. He had we had developed a financial portfolio that would have left me with $500,000. I gave that to him on behalf of James because I knew that he would have James for the rest of his life, pretty
Mhm.
much. So it's like that was nothing for me to give that up. But all of my friends are like, you fool, you fool, you fool, you fool. And when I
Woo.
think about it, it's like, yeah, I could have just said, I'll keep that part. You don't have to pay child support. You can still keep James so you don't have child support. But the money that's accumulated that's in excess that we don't split, that money, put it a certain place. That's what I should have said, but I didn't. I just said, you'll have James, you keep the money. So anyway, hindsight is 2020 because I would
Mm-hmm.
have had it in a pocket for James now, whereas with him and his new wife, who knows what that money's been. It's his money. He can decide how
Mm.
he wants to spend it. So it should have been said earlier exactly how that money should have been kept for James. But I trust him. I know that he's doing the right thing, like I would do the right thing
Mm-hmm,
with that
mm-hmm.
money. So I'm not worried about it, except the
Okay.
fact that they are living a great life. But James is
Mm.
also living a great life. So that's the way I see it.
Yes.
I see it like
Yes.
James is living that way too. So
Mm-hmm.
I I think that's all until we meet again as far as autism goes. But if there's any
Yes.
questions, I would gladly answer them.
Oh, wow. I'm sure everyone in the studio does have some questions, but let me just say to you, Myra, that just listening to you, I've learned so much.
Mm.
And I've also learned how that you, for whatever reason, you were willing to give up whatever you thought ought to be, should have be, could have be for the beauty of your son having a good life.
Yes, ma'am.
And then trusting your mate as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what greatness. Only the grace and the love of God can do that. And I certainly hope that we can meet James one day on this show. Perhaps next year we can have some autistic people who wait a minute, you just taught me how to say. I am not going to call them autistic people. What I'd like for next year in the month of April, doing Autism Acceptance
Awareness,
Month, is to
acceptance
have
month.
some
Mhm.
youth on the show who have some autistic tendencies.
There you go. That's
Have some
beautiful.
autistic tendencies. And
Mm-hmm.
as you were giving that explanation to us, it made me think of this. When things occur in our life, we act like everything that happens in our life is us.
Mm-hmm.
But I was taught through New Thought at Hillside Chapel and Truth Center in Atlanta, Georgia, the same place where the Daily Thought came from, that I am not my circumstance. So
That's
whenever
it.
something is going on, I have to realize that my circumstance is one thing and who I am is another. But the
Mm-hmm.
moment I merge them together, I get in trouble because
Mm-hmm.
I start thinking that's me.
Mm-hmm.
That's not me. That's just a circumstance of the moment. And I'm going to be working, hopefully, with you and others around creating some words and phrases that we can use to speak about our children
Mm-hmm.
who have
Thank
these
you.
tendencies. Yeah, because until I learned that I wasn't my circumstance, every time something happened, I was
Mm-hmm.
blaming me. But once I learned through new thought that I am not my circumstance. The circumstance is what happened to me.
That's right.
And autism is what happened to James. But James is still James. Wow, what a powerful statement. What a powerful testimony. Ladies, any questions or comments for Myra?
Myra, talk about a little bit of the lows and highs that you have experienced with James, like the fun things that he likes to do, or the challenges that you have found over and over that repeats itself.
Okay. So of course, you already know, the highs are all his achievements and things that we've seen him and just his personality with his friends and things like that. But the last time that he was with me, I took him to the park. And you know how in my town, I'm in the country. Well, we have the historical trees. I don't know if you could see. I'm at the service center right now
Okay.
because I had an exercise class this morning. But those trees are nothing in comparison to the trees that are at the park. The trees at the
Mm,
park are like the I guess about 4 feet wide sometimes. But anyway,
mm,
this special tree, not only was it big, but it had a branch that, let me see if you can see my arm. It had a branch that was like low to the ground, and then it started moving upward. And
Mm-hmm.
it was pretty thick, thick enough to walk on. So a high and a low all together was watching James. After I demonstrated, look, James, you can walk one foot in front of the other on this branch. And he's like,
Ah.
like, you think I can do that, huh? And I was like, yes. So he went over, and of course, he was awkward because they have a certain amount of awkward behavior going on. And he
Mm-hmm.
got up on it. He's like looking down. It's only about at the bottom, it was only about 3 inches from the ground. But
Mm-hmm.
because the bark, he knew that he was going to be going up, he was a little nervous. So he started off looking nervous, which is a low. And it's like he's going up, and then he's kind of leaning and catching, you know, his balance. The bark is, I guess, that he's walking on is maybe about 10 inches wide. So it's
Mm.
long, big enough for him to be comfortable. But because his fear is there, they have a lot of fear in the unknown and in the things that, like I said, maybe dad had not done this with him before. I
Mm-hmm.
know that
Mm-hmm.
I had not brought him to that park before. He loves going to the park. But anyway, the low is that he's wobbling, he's scared, he's this and that. But once he got to the top, and the top was about 4 feet higher. And of course, I knew he was
Oh.
safe. It was about
Mm-hmm.
started about 4 inches to 4 feet off the ground as the tree was going back up. And so when he got to the top, and I have a video of it, he got to the top and he just looked, and you could tell he was proud. He was proud of himself.
Wow.
So when a person, thank you, when a person is proud of themselves,
Yeah.
that's the highest high, because you
Okay.
see that the person has the feeling that I accomplished something and it's worthy. I mean, I've seen him walking across the floor of graduates, like when they call your name, James
Mm-hmm.
Brady. And I have a video of that too. It's like a high. James Brady, perfect attendance. 1992, 1993, 19, like the seniors when they do
Wow.
that, you know, um,
Uh-huh.
award for this, award for that, award for this. And they've made special
Wow.
affirmation to
Wow.
do that for them.
Mm.
But yes, it's the highest high. That is the highest high. To see them
Wow.
being so proud of themselves, that's the highest.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I love this. I love this. And you're even giving me ideas for future shows. Mary?
Myra,
No, I was
one
saying
more
Mary.
thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Talk about his singing.
His
His
what?
singing.
Singing?
Yes.
James.
James liked to sing.
James loves music. James can tell you, I mean, he loves Christian music, gospel music. He knows every artist. If you're singing, if Miss Mary is singing, let's see, CC Winan, her song,
Mm-hmm.
that's CC. That's CC Winan.
Ah,
Yeah, he's like that with gospel
okay.
music. Oh, Kirk Franklin, that's Kirk Franklin with so and so.
Wow.
He is just that's what he does all day. He loves music, gospel music,
Wow.
and he can tell you all the artists and the songs that they're singing. And I'm like, really? Like, yeah, that's so and so. He's just excellent in that. He's gifted in that. And when
And
he
he gets
first
very
started.
happy.
Another high, and something that dad and I we were both like surprised about when he said his ABCs backwards.
Well,
He was like, that was one of the first things that he could do besides, reading. And he does read well now, but it's like he said it like you were just rattling off A B C D E F G H I J K L M.
mm-hmm.
He said Z Y X Q W P something or another, and he went from Z to A, and just like that. And we were like, "Where'd you learn that?" It
Wow.
wasn't learned. It was learned because all behavior is learned behavior, but it was learned, and we didn't even realize that he was learning as everybody was teaching A, B, C to Z. He was learning, think back, Z, da, da, Z, X, Y, whatever it is. He was
Wow.
learning like that. I mean, he's awesome. They
That
are
is so
brilliant.
exciting.
I got to give him credit.
Oh, looks like there she
We
is.
might
Okay.
have lost her.
They're
She's
actually
back.
brilliant, but
Mm,
they have gaps in their learning. So that's
hmm.
how it's not really known how much they really know. It's
Wow.
something that you have to tap into to just know what they really know, through a battery of activities, to even know how much they truly know. And they are
Mm,
special. When they say special, they are special, and
mm.
they do all special ed kids qualify in a special group. Gifted and talented kids are special. So when I
Okay.
first started teaching, I taught at TH Rogers, which is an education center for the special students. That
Hmm.
was in 1985. But it's like within this house for this school, they had the gifted and talented, and those people, of course, they ended up being doctors and engineers and stuff, from eighth grade, from kindergarten to eighth grade they were there. But they had the program there too where they were like buddies to the special kids. So I mean,
Wow.
it was even
Mm,
happening back in 85, the
okay.
program to help them, but it just wasn't as organized as it is now with the
Okay.
buddies program. But
Hmm.
everything is, it is getting to be better, but it's going to take all of us accepting, like you said first, because we're aware. You see people and it's like, well, I know that person has a problem, and they must be autistic or have, what is that, Down syndrome, or there's a lot of different things that place you in a category of abnormality. So
Hmm.
a lot of times people accept them. It's like, well, I'm glad that's not me, but I see you over there. But the acceptance really comes from the heart and out of
Hmm.
love, like
Okay.
the other guest said. She said, love is the biggest thing, and I agree with that. You have to love what you're doing and whatever
Hmm.
you're doing, and especially within your family. You have to love and take
Wow.
yourself out of it. Don't feel that you're responsible. Just feel like you're responsible for the help of it, and
Okay.
not the guilt of it, but the help for
Yes.
everyone is responsible.
Mm. Ooh,
Mhm.
honey, you are soothing my soul in so many different ways. Mary, is there something you'd like to, any input, Mary?
Mine was just to echo. I just wanted to say, Myra, you're a very strong lady. And I was listening keenly. I was like, indeed, God gave you the grace to manage.
Yes.
God
Mhm.
does not give anyone anything that they cannot manage. So I just
Hmm.
give it all to you and say, you've done it and you should be proud of yourself. And I've learned a lot about
Yes.
this condition. Thank you for sharing.
Yes.
Thank
And,
you.
and I've learned a lot from you, Mara, as well. I want to say that our second guest, Miss Chantel, we did
Yes.
not bring her on today because
Oh.
as I began to read through the bios and everything, I got so full until I decided that I should let her come another day so that we don't miss any of your story. Because if you're doing a 60-minute show,
Mhm.
everybody has a certain amount of time. I didn't want to put a time on it.
Mhm.
So we're going to bring her on May 5th, which is 2 weeks from now. We'll bring in Chantel and she'll talk about Raphael. And if your time permits, we want you to come back on that day too.
I
And I
will be
also
there to
want us
hear
to,
her. Mhm.
all right, I also want us to go offline, Myra, and be in a Zoom conversation on what we want to do next year for um, National or International Autism Acceptance Month. Let's think of something exciting that we can do because
Mhm.
so you interact with the children, you interact with James. So, and you've given me a lot of ideas just by listening, but Let me not try to run with my idea. Let me take my idea and put them in with the expert who's been really, really, really dealing in the area and see what we can do next year to make a great program. Who knows what can come from that? I even saw games in my mind. I saw video games. I'll bet James could do some of that if he's with the right person to show him how to
Yes.
do it. So let's experiment and play and see what we can come with next year. And at this time next year, we'll feature some of our children with the symptoms. How about that?
Mm-hmm. That would be
Ooh,
great.
thank you. Thank you. We're going to do that. You know, one thing you'll learn about Queen Mother is I am a woman of action. I don't just say it and it just disappears into thin air. It happens.
All
So
right.
again, I want to thank you, Myra, for being on the Queen Mother Speak Show. Mary, thank you. Now, Mary, tell me, with some of the supplements that you have, is there anything you would recommend to Myra?
Hmm.
Unmute. Unmute. Unmute, Mary.
Sorry about
There
that.
you go.
Yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, we have two types of supplements that I can recommend. One of them is the sister product of this product. This is C24/7, but this C24/7 has anti-aging, so we don't give it to children under 18. But I can see James is 22, so maybe we can try that. And there's also a beverage called My Choco. I'll just show that to you. This. And so with that combination, because the complete version of the C24 will feed the cells with all the nutrients he needs. And then the My Choco, the beverage, will help, like enhance the delays since it has DHA, like omega-3. So yeah, just like Myra said, it's all what we eat. So this is
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Wow. Thank
Okay.
you. Great. Coach, any
Thank you.
closing
I'll
words?
call you to get that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yes,
Coach, any closing words?
we'll take it offline. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Myra, for sharing your story. And this is why I felt it was very important for Chantel and Myra to come on. And usually you get the one-on-one, the real action words. We can read
Yeah.
all day long and all night long, but the person that's experiencing the experience is the one that would give you the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I hope that this has helped the masses, whoever's listening, and I pray that we will like, share, and invite others to come and complete Chantel's story. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Myra, and be blessed.
Thank
All
you. Thank
right.
you for inviting me. I enjoyed it. Be
Okay.
blessed,
Well, again,
everyone here. Bye bye.
yes. And once again, we're glad for you to be on the Queen Mother Speak Show. We're going to go ahead and end the show now. We have run over time a little bit, but since we're in control of time, we're just going to simply say, this is the Queen Mother Speak Show. And we're going to end it the way we always do. And we end our show, Myra and Mary, with love. And we're getting ready to do that right now. Here's how we do that. First, we take our left hand and we blow a kiss. Then we take our right hand and we blow a kiss. Then we take both hands
Oh,
together and blow a kiss. We're going to do it all together, ladies. We're going to do it all together. And I want you, as you're throwing out your kisses, I want you to throw out your kisses from the heart. And if you throw out your kisses from the heart, somebody out there is going to get it, feel it, and let us know. Would you believe I often get comments that say, you know what? That kiss was for me, Queen Mother. So let's get ready and give some love in the world right now, starting with the left hand. You ready? Wonderful. Right hand. All right. Now we're going to do both hands and really give that love away. And as we say in our church, love isn't love until you've given that love away. Let's go.
Mwah.
Ah. Thank you. This is Queen Mother Speaks every Wednesday, every week, live at 5 p.m. Kenya time, 10 a.m. New York time. Be sure to check the time in your time zone if you are not 10 a.m. or 5 p.m. Next week, we're going to have on the show a young lady who's written a book. She'll be launching her book, and her book is about how to build in Kenya. And then the next young lady on the show is going to talk to us about the cost of properties. So tune in next week to find out how you can build your house in Nairobi, Kenya. Once again, this is Queen Mother Speaks. Thank you for